Hey everybody, always Dizzy here. Okay, so it's been a while since I've made a video that is not a tournament recap or um, a highlight from my stream. Yeah, been a long time, maybe well over a year. So what I wanted to talk about, and it's not going to be a surprise because it's going to be in the title, but I'm going to show you why you should not be scared to change up your opening repertoire. Now, for anybody that watches me regularly or knows me, I have a extremely strict repertoire, like very narrow and deep. So I don't deviate between lines. I have an exact move that I play against everything. Um, Now, um, when I started playing as an adult, this is about 6 years ago now, against the French as white, I used to play knight c3. And at the time, I was like 1500, 1600 on Lichess Rapid. This was within the first, I don't know, the first few months of playing as an adult. And I quickly ran into a lot of issues when my opponent would play bishop b4, the winner variation. And I would I would have a lot of troubles with this. I found it very sharp. I often ran into tactical issues right into the opening. And so when I started to kind of look into my openings in general, I kind of learned about the Tarrasch variation, knight d2, which I believe came about originally to stop bishop b4, to prevent it, because now bishop b4 will run into c3, right? So it had a lot of the same characteristics as knight c3, but we can avoid the winner. So, and plus I thought it was kind of a funky looking move. It's kind of a weird looking move, like knight d2, you're blocking your bishop and your queen. It looks kind of weird. And I liked it for that reason. And so I switched to that, and I've been playing that ever since, up to about, say, I'm not sure, maybe like maybe 6 weeks, 5, 6 weeks ago. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I played this in a fair number of tournament games even. If you look through some of my recaps, you'll see that I played knight d2. Now, I quickly learned that black can basically fully equalize in this variation. So the main way that black can play is knight f6 here. I don't know why I put it on the engine, but knight f6, and then you do get some positions that are somewhat similar to the knight c3 lines. And I actually don't mind these positions so much. But the real problem comes when black plays c5 here. And yeah, black is basically fully equal. And so again, even in my tournament games where I have lots of time to think, I was only getting equal positions out of this. I'll just quickly put you down the main lines. There's two ways for black to play. Both of them are fine. E takes or queen takes. But let me just go down the main line here through the database and just show you what you kind of get. But it's really pretty dead equal. And it's really kind of impossible for white to force an advantage. So I've always hated that. It was always nagging in the back of my mind that black is completely fine. And it always annoyed me. And I couldn't find, I looked deep, very deep into the lines, looked at alternatives, looked at ways to make it interesting. I couldn't find anything. Okay, so I know that was a long speech there. But so I think there was the turning point for me, I think, was, it might have been my last tournament game where I forget the result of that tournament game. I should have looked it up, but I think I might have ended up losing. I really can't remember. But in any case, yeah, I decided to switch my opening move on move 3. Now, maybe you guys are thinking, big deal, man. Like, I change openings all the time. I don't, though. I don't. I'm very strict with my openings. I don't easily change my openings because I put so much work into them. But drastic times call for drastic measures. And so I switched on move 3, the way I play against the French. And so there's really only two other options, right? There's the advanced, which is the hot commodity. That's basically what most people play these days at the top level and even at the amateur level. And then there's the exchange French, which was a very close consideration for me because I know French players hate it. So just for that reason alone, I gave it strong consideration, but I looked into it very, very deep and thoroughly. And again, black gets fall equality. You do get a little bit closer to an end game, which is kind of interesting, but I'm not looking for equality when I'm white. So I ended up going back to knight c3. Now, it's kind of funny when I say go back to it, because when I played knight c3, I was quite the noob. I mean, I was still, I was like 1500, 1600. So I didn't really know anything. But yeah, anyways, I went back to knight c3, and it was so hard for me to do because how do you do it? Like, how do you ease your way into a new opening? This isn't like a variation on move 7. This is move 3. And so there's a massive amount of theory that you have to learn. And there was no easy way into it. I just had to kind of rip the Band-Aid off right away and just go dive right into the deep end of the pool and yeah, just go for it in my games. And that meant losing. And it didn't feel good because you know that you're on move 3, you're going into uncharted territory and you have no idea what you're doing. I will say that I could have bought a course, but I've never bought a course or read a book or anything on openings before. I do it my own way. And so I didn't want to start now. Yeah, so basically I switched to knight c3 and just started playing and losing. But the interesting thing is, despite not knowing anything, and by the way, when I played it, when I started playing it in my games, I seriously didn't know anything. I didn't book up to anything past move 3. But I actually started to do okay. Like, I wasn't doing bad in my games, and this is playing against my standard opponents. And so I know this is a very kind of long speech here, but let me show you the results. And I'm going to have to move my webcam to do this. So I will move. I should have done that at the beginning of the video. I forgot though. Okay. So you can see, yeah, this is not me. So here we go. Look at the results. So when I played knight d2, I was at 48%. So I was still in the plus, right? Like 48% versus 42% is actually not bad. I was still, winning more than I was losing. But look when I switched knight c3. Look at that incredible win rate. And I was waiting to make this video because I wanted to make sure I had a decent enough sample size. And I played 52 games with knight c3, and I've won 62% of them. So I'm winning 2/3 of my games with knight c3, that's an extremely high win rate. And I'm still new to the opening. Like, I've only been playing it. Again, I'm not quite sure, but maybe like 5-6 weeks. And I am starting to learn more about it. I'm working on the opening whenever I face it. Like afterwards, I study it and build onto my repertoire. But isn't that incredible? Like 52 games and a 62% win rate. And you would think it should only go up from there because I'm new to it. Imagine what it might be like once I really start to know it well. like, but it's like, I don't know how high I could go because 62% is already extremely high. Like, can I get it to 65%? Could I get it to 65? That would be amazing. If I do, I might make another video just to talk about it some more because yeah, that's unusual, don't you think? 65% win rate was a good sample size. Yeah, so and then if I just go a little bit deeper, so after knight c3, now what's interesting about knight c3 and what helped me slightly is that in knight d2, if black decides to take on e4, I think it's like it has a name, but I forget what it is. But if black decides to take here, I guess it'll say now, right? No, it still doesn't say, but this will transpose in the knight c3 line. So I didn't have to learn that again, which is good. But it's not super common. So in the winnower variation, I'm still not scoring great on that line. I'm only at 56% versus 44, which is not a single draw yet. Isn't that funny? 18 games, I didn't have a single draw. This knight c3 is very decisive. Yeah, either black wins or white wins. There's not many draws. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm still struggling a bit against bishop b4, but still winning a fair bit more than I'm losing. But in the main line, I think it's a main line. See, I don't even know. Yeah, in the main line, I'm pretty much just crushing it, right? I'm at 67% win rate in this line. And I don't really know what I'm doing that much. And it's very sharp. These lines are very sharp, which makes it even more interesting that I'm doing so well against it because I don't know the theory very well yet. So yeah, so I just wanted to share this with you guys because like if you have an opening that you are kind of struggling with or you don't find it fun, but you're also kind of scared to switch things up, you should give it a try because again, just look at right here. Look at that. I mean, from 48% to 62%. So what is that? 14% improvement? But that's not even right. Like, well, I don't even know. From what's 48? What would I do? 48 divided by 62? Is that how I find the increase in percentage? Or let me see. I'm bringing out the calculator here. Yeah, would that be a 33% increase? Let's see. I think so. I think that's a 33% win, like improvement on the win rate. Well, no, it's a 33% increase over 48%, but overall, yeah, it's a 14% increase. So in any case, it's a huge increase from 48 to 62%. So now I'm more inclined to do this with my other openings, but I have considered this already. It's not like the first time I've considered switching openings, but I've never actually done it. I've never actually made a switch or tried anything new. I've looked into it. I've looked into the openings deeply, but I've never actually put it to the test. One of the biggest things is against d4 as black. You know, I know a lot of players have this conundrum where like, what do I play against d4? I hate it. It's boring. And how do you spice it up? Yeah, I'm I've looked into that endlessly as well. The only thing that I mean, there's multiple ways to do it, but I think one way to kind of guarantee it is to play the Dutch. But what I don't like about the Dutch, apart from it being slightly dubious in terms of eval, which I don't mind too much, but it's not sharp enough for me. There's too many ways for white to play against the Dutch, and I don't like that so much. But yeah, I wanted to show you a couple other things here. So it's not the first time I've tried changing things up. I did not too long ago so here's another one. I hate playing against a Petrov because it's so dull, it's so boring, it's so unimaginative from black. And the funny thing is that my win rate against it is actually pretty good, 54%. Like that's quite good actually. I just don't like playing against it. And so I put a lot of work into researching the Cochrane Gambit here. Knight takes f7. Like seriously, like to play it seriously. Yeah, did a lot of research into that, and it's actually quite interesting. And yeah, I was really about to permanently make the switch, but yeah, it's just not quite enough. It's just not, you don't get quite enough from it. It's so close to being a decent opening, but you can kind of see my results. Now, my sample size is very low on this, only 5 games. I only won one of them. And some of them might have been a bullet. No, I don't have bullet included in my filters here. But I did try this out just because I hated playing against a Petrov. I think that's another thing. In the openings you choose, I think you have to enjoy them. Ideally, when you see an opening, you're thrilled to see it. It's like, oh yeah. That's ideal. But you have to balance that with evaluation, right? So anyways, I did try this out, but it didn't pan out, and I don't think I'm going to stick with it. But it's frustrating because it's so close to being good, and it's still not simple for black. It's not simple for black. Black has to really be really careful against it. And then I'll show you another positive change that I made, but this change was made quite a while ago, like maybe close to 2 years ago or around 2 years ago. And that is kind of in this Steinitz or old Steinitz variation here. So here I used to castle, which I think might even be the main line. No, it's second main line. So I used to just castle here, and there's nothing wrong with it objectively, but I didn't have the greatest results with it. You can see here 45%. It's actually a good win rate, but it was never fun to play, and it was actually kind of it was a little bit tedious and frustrating to play against. There's a lot of crap that you have to kind of deal with, like these pins, and it just felt like more annoying. It was annoying to play against a little bit. So I switched to d4, and I've been doing very well with that. And I actually really like the positions because the ideas are always the same for white, and you can transpose into this a million different ways. And look at my win rate on it, 61%. So, I mean, that's crazy, right? That's a very good win rate. So yeah, I just want to make sure I don't have any other notes here I wanted to share with us. Yeah, that was it. So I don't know. I thought I'd just make this video because, again, if you're on the fence, if there's an opening that you hate playing or you're not doing well with, you could try something else. You don't know. If it doesn't work out, you can always just go back to what you're currently playing. But I'm loving this French change for me on move 3. Like the guy I just beat in this game. So right before making this video, I just played this game. See, maybe you can't see, but it says 41 minutes ago. So I just played this guy. I looked at his account. He's 2000, okay, you can't see. Let me move the webcam again. But he's 2073 FIDE. Doesn't mean anything, right? But I just love this change. 62% win rate. And I still don't know the opening very well. Again, imagine what it's like once I start to become really experienced with it. So can I do this with any other openings? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I'll leave it there. Just thought I'd share that with you. So if you hate one of the openings you play, or you're not doing very well with it, try something new. It might just surprise you how well you do with it. Thanks for watching.